That's the message from St George Illawarra supporters. He was in everything as they absolutely smashed up the Broncos, 52 points to 24. And as we're going to look at his highlights, can anyone here make sense of why the St George Illawarra Dragons are going to let him go?
It astounds me, to be honest, Lara. I mean, we've got to look when he's had, I think it was a rib injury a week or two ago. He back into the side, obviously, on Friday night, on Thursday night, I beg your pardon, and just showed the difference that he makes to the footy side. They can't score points without him. They cannot score points without him. He's so classy with the footy. He's got great speed. You look at some of the gun fullbacks in the competition at the moment, Tedesco, Pappenhausen, these type of guys, their speed is what sets them apart and gives them opportunities to create, and then they obviously need the class, with their ball playing ability, and Dufty possesses that. Yeah, sure, he's not the biggest guy out of the backfield to get their sets started. They cover that with Pereira and Ravalawa and the big bodies that they have with Lomax and also Jack Bird. But when it gets down to the business end of the field, he nails it and he gets it right and he makes the other players around him better. And if they think that Cody Ramsey's their answer at fullback, then I'm watching a different game. I'm completely watching a different game.
10,000 signatures don't lie, Michael. And you look at players like Benji Marshall and Matt Dufty, you're not picking them as defensive gurus.
He got his body in front of Tavita Pangai on the try line and stopped a try the other night. Like, the guy's courageous.
No question whatsoever. But the knock coming out of the Dragons is that defensively, right, he's got deficiencies in his game, and in terms of the organisation of the defensive wall, he isn't up there with some of the better fullbacks in the NRL. Personally, I'm with you. I disagree strongly. 10,000 fan signatures don't lie. They're struggling to score points without him. It's as simple as that. I've got no doubt that he'll find another NRL club.
The worry for me, is they've got some really good young kids coming through there as well that have been spoken about as potential fullback replacements for Dufty. They're talking about, staying within. But the one that keeps being mentioned is Ramsey. He had 4 errors under the high ball the other night. And to me, Cody Ramsey's the type of guy that a coach can fall in love with over the summer, because he just works his arse off and he gives you everything that he possibly can and turns up every day with a great attitude. And all of a sudden a coach goes, I want to coach that bloke, I want him in my side. But when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, he just doesn't have the skill level, from what I've seen yet, of what Matt Dufty is. And your fullback is your most important. I spoke to one of the premier halves today in the competition. I won't throw him under the bus, but he said to me that a fullback is the most important position on the field at the moment. He said having a quality fullback around him makes his job so much easier. And they just can ill afford to lose Dufty. That's in my opinion. And I think you go and ask any of the St George players, and I think deep down they'd love to keep Matt Dufty.
Does it surprise you, Mel, the position? Or?
Well, there's innuendo in the background all the time around why isn't he being signed? Why isn't he being signed? Everybody has got that message. And to me, the art of coaching is to coach the personalities. That you don't get 30 same personalities in a football club. You don't get 30 different players of the same ilk and with the same DNA that you want and characteristics. So I mean, sometimes it comes down to actually coaching him. If he's good enough to be there, you just got to find ways to coach him into obviously his weaknesses, which is you hear around his defensive qualities and his ability to read defence. But that comes into it. I mean, he's got this attacking prowess that not many fullbacks have got in the game.
Look at speed.
And speed,
we're sitting at the moment, marvelling at the way Trent Robinson is nurturing Sam Walker. Trent knows that Sam Walker's not the greatest defender, but it's what he brings to the footy side. Nathan Brown, the same with Reece Walsh. Reece Walsh is not the best defender. There's 2 out there that are brilliant at it. It's Tedesco and Trbojevic, and they're worth over $1 million. And unless you've got it, or more to be able to attract them, then you've got to go into that next crop. And Dufty's absolutely in that next crop.
So I'm assuming, and again, I'm outside the club, I'm assuming they've done everything they possibly can to help Matt Dufty become a defensive fullback or organiser that they want him to be. And obviously they can't get the results, so that's why they're moving him on.